1-year anniversary, right? We're rocking and rolling here. We're getting started. Appreciate all the work you guys have been doing. Been a lot of positive feedback. What we got happening today, Tim? So we're going through these larger rooms.
Correct. The magnets came just over a day ago, and if you look back, you can see they're already full. So we know we're getting people dumping. Everything in this alley was collected 2 days ago. So,
So this is all 48 hours.
yeah, what's in the cans, some of the stuff on the ground's been here, since before Tuesday, but the cans were all empty Tuesday, and a lot of this debris that you see on the ground has occurred in a couple of days. So this is what we're doing today is the crews come out and see places like this. This is where we can't identify where it came from, so what we've done then is we've installed cameras up here to track some of the illegal dumping.
And we put in, what, about 80 cameras?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we've had 80 different cameras so far this year, and those ones will capture people that are illegally dumping at locations like this, and then we'll track it down and try to go the enforcement. So we started out with the education side of it, we've done that, prevention side, and now we're moving into that enforcement phase.
And I think I read 53 folks have already been charged or fined for illegal dumping.
You are correct.
Just in this year.
Just this year.
Since this effort started.
Yep, you're correct.
That's fantastic.
So the crews will come.
Vast majority of folks probably don't live in the neighborhood, right? They just come through here. And is most of the illegal dumping, or have you guys seen more of it taking place in neighborhoods that have these larger containers?
Yeah, you're correct, sir. So where we've got those 300s, the people that live outside the neighborhoods often come to these alleys because they know there's capacity to drop it. So they'll drive these alleys and just fill them up, right, on a regular basis.
So they're seeing a disproportionate amount of illegal dumping.
Correct.
Neighborhoods that have these. I think it just reinforces how important it is. I know we hear from a lot of folks throughout the city about going to the smaller containers, the larger. Wow. What are some other things we're looking to do in the year ahead?
Yeah, so stepping up the enforcement side of it, cameras, you can do that. The crews are now what we're doing is we've been tracking the data to see where the illegal dumping is happening the most. So we've swept every alley in the city a couple of times now. So now we've got some data that shows, and we're tracking that hotspot mapping. We're overlaying that with the solid waste inspector complaints, the illegal dumping, the tires that we're finding, and we're starting to identify hotspot zones now, and then that's where we're going to concentrate more on now that we have an idea of,
What's our intel on this? Is there a sense of where we need to be more focused moving forward?
Sure. This area that we're in today, the Hilltop area, we've got some areas in Linden and a couple areas in the south side that we have identified. And we've really, our zones are about a 5 block by 5 block area. So we've got zones within them that are hit additionally hard. So what we got now, internally, we're looking at a hotspot map.
Yeah.
So every day it gets updated with what we've collected, where we're at, and it'll change colors to let us know from green to yellow to red. And now we're going to start concentrating, getting rid of the red. And then as we work at those colors, as areas start to get worse, we'll know to concentrate there before it gets too bad. So now we're going to start using that data to drive our decision making.
Have you seen a connection between our really, really high eviction rates? I mean, we've got one of the highest eviction rates, and the set-outs, and how set-outs contribute to, debris, illegal dumping in alleys, and those types of things. I mean, the overall curb appeal and beautification in neighborhoods and the impact evictions is having on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So where we have the highest number of set-outs, that's where we do get a lot of illegal dumping. So if someone gets evicted, the landlord or the property owner then takes that stuff, and typically they're hiring somebody or just dumping it in those areas around there, not paying for the private hauling of that. So we do see a lot of that contributing to those areas. So where we have high eviction areas is where we're also seeing a lot more of the illegal dumping.
So one more reason we got to fix our broken eviction system here in this community. Not only is it a threat to family strength and stability, but directly to neighborhood quality of life. And so grateful for some of the progress we're making in reducing evictions. You can only imagine if a neighborhood is consistently turning over and people are being set out because of eviction, probably going to have more and more neighborhoods looking like this, which is isn't acceptable for kids and families.
Absolutely. It's definitely a quality of life issue.
All right. How many crews, what hours are we pretty much weekends?
We do a little bit of weekends, but it's mainly Monday through Friday. Every station has a crew. So that's for our outpost. We have the crew. Everyone, and all they do is every day, all day long. So you'll see a rear loader with
So these, the team I met here today, everybody's solely focused on the road.
Correct. We have the 3 solid waste inspectors and then typically collectors.
That's great.
Make sure they're working tight areas. As you can see.
Yeah.
Avoiding the wires and the trees.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're getting calls from other folks.
Yes.
You know.
It's certainly after 5 p.m. So a lot of those work days come in work days. We see a lot of construction so those contractors at the end of the day that are really getting done, they're coming in after 5, but they're certainly coming during the evening hours.
So we've been reaching out to construction, builders exchange or other types of membership associations for construction.
We can. It's really a lot of the home remodeling. A lot of the contractors coming in, ripping out and redoing cabinetry, flooring. That's what we're seeing a lot.
Kind of more of the mom and pop shops,
Yeah.
as opposed to larger construction
Correct.
firms.
Correct.
We've met a lot with some of the landlords, especially in the key areas, to try to explain to them what their options are. The option they're not allowed to take is to dump it in the alleys.
So some of the challenges, like with Franklinton being a hot area, there's a lot of, flipping houses, that sort of thing.
Yes.
That creates dumping. People don't want to spend. It actually doesn't cost much to get a dumpster and fill it up, a couple $100, do it the right way. But people think it takes maybe $50.
One of the things that drives me so crazy is that, you don't see this in certain neighborhoods. We live in Clintonville, and you don't see people running around doing illegal dumping. Probably in a good part of Northland, that's not the case either. It's folks choosing and selecting neighborhoods where they think they can get away with it.
Absolutely.
And that's why this comprehensive approach, education, but also enforcement. People need to know that, we're going to work with you and do everything we can to make sure that we have appropriate ways to dispose of things. But if you're going to illegally dump, we're coming after you, and we're going to charge you, and we're going to fine you.
Yep, absolutely.
Talk about the role of CPD and the City Attorney's Office with respect to fines and charges.
Sure. So that's the 3 solid waste inspectors that we have. They would go out and investigate it. If we can find out where it comes from or we have footage, they would put the case together, and they'd go in and sign an affidavit. City prosecutor would file those charges, and we'd move forward there. That's the step that we've just really started doing, is for really working with the city attorneys and starting to file those charges on that. CPD helps us out with their neighborhood liaisons. They often help go through the area, identify people for us, work with us, and then we also work with some of the Columbus Police light duty officers are actually reviewing film for us, because as we put up a lot of these cameras, it's time consuming to go through the video to find out where. So we're getting help from them as well, so that they can help identify some of that for us.
You think a message is being sent to folks with the charges and fines?
I think it's beginning to be sent now. Yep, that's this phase now.
Good. Good.
We're going to set some folks up, I think, for one-on-one over here. Once you have other questions.
What's next? What do you see after? So when we're back here celebrating the 2nd anniversary and going into year 3, what are you thinking about? Either technology, other facilities?
Sure. So what we're looking at now, we're looking at getting a couple of little skid steers. We just ordered one.
Skid steers?
It's a little, with a front end claw that it'll speed some of this process up.
Okay.
Looking at different technology on the cameras, it's a little more advanced now to help with. We got some license plate readers on them. rather than just we're getting the LPRs in them, so that way we can get a little better information to help us in the enforcement. And then really continuing the process of switching out as many of these 300 to 90 businesses throughout the city. We've got
Targeting the areas where the most illegal dumping is. You get there first. Hilltop, Linden, South Side.
Correct. Yep.
Good news. We're just getting started.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support of this.
Folks who want some one-on-one questions with the mayor, if I could have you all come set up this way and we'll finish it that way. That makes sense?
Yeah, one-on-one.
That's right. So we also have Councilmember Ramey, who's chair of the Environment Committee here as well, that we can talk to.
Sure.
All right.
It's a good shot.
Let's get a close-up.
It's a good one.
We'll start there and then we'll do the 10.
That tire number is crazy. 4,300 tires. Yeah. 4,300. Yeah. 40 tons of tires.
I'll be quick. Yeah.
All right, so what do you guys want to shoot? You want to
He can stand right here.
Right here?
go right here?
You got it.
All right, let me know when you're ready. Back there.
3 seconds.
1, 2, 3. The house one.
That's the fast. All right, we're good.
Talk about this. Last year, you kind of, it was July 31st, where you made the announcement of just kind of cracking down on this. Just what have you been hearing about, through what's been going on in some of these neighborhoods?
Well, hearing directly from our residents that illegal dumping is really rampant in neighborhoods, some neighborhoods in particular, Linden, the South Side, and over here on the Hilltop today. And so really focusing on and having an entire great team from public service working on this. They're solely dedicated to fighting illegal dumping and cleaning up our alleyways. And it's pretty remarkable, 4,300 tires, 40 tons of tires that they've picked up, tons and tons of trash and garbage that you're seeing just like this. These larger containers here, we're replacing with smaller containers because these larger containers were just emptied 48 hours ago, and you already have trash, filling up this alleyway. And so, and putting, 80 cameras up in alleys in those neighborhoods and other neighborhoods around the city to catch these illegal dumpers because they only dump in certain areas because they think that they can get away with it. But our neighborhoods aren't dumping grounds, and we want to send a clear message. If you illegally dump in Columbus neighborhoods, we're coming after you.
I spoke with a few neighbors around here who say that they know with some of these house projects that are going on that they're finding that these, independent contractors are coming over a couple of streets, dumping things in their alleys and then going back to work. What do you say to that? And then your thoughts when you walk by to see how much trash was in here, knowing that 48 hours ago, this was all empty?
Well, clearly we need to do a better job of educating those contractors, but we also need to enforce, the policies, rules, procedures, laws that we already have on the books. And these containers are here for the residents of this neighborhood, not for contractors that are doing work in our community. We are excited that they're improving the housing stock in Columbus neighborhoods, but they need to dispose of their trash and waste in appropriate ways, and it is not in the alleys of our neighborhoods.
Your thoughts when you walked by and saw how much was here? I mean, I know you've probably done this before, but just your initial thoughts when you can see how much trash is being dumped, not in the trash cans, but outside, making the way of life for the people around here a little bit miserable.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't want your family having this type of debris in the backyard, in the alley of your house. It's not acceptable to me, and it shouldn't be acceptable to anybody in the city of Columbus. And I think it really reinforces what we've heard from residents for years, and that is there are neighborhoods that are being targeted, because folks feel like they can get away with illegal dumping. And this effort, we're celebrating the first anniversary, huge success. We're just getting started, and it's about education, but it's also about enforcement. And we're going to continue to work on both fronts and keep our neighborhoods safer and cleaner moving forward.
Anything else that you want to add? I know it's a huge sanitary issue for people living in the area, so I understand that getting out here and trying to clean it up, as quickly as possible. But is there any
plans on possibly expanding this? I know it's only year number 1, but is there anything that you're learning while doing this process?
Well, and that's what I was just asking Tim about. Okay, so here we are, the end of year 1. What do you see coming down the line? Is there better information, better technology we can use camera-wise? Are there other best practices we can look at from around the community and the country to help keep our alleyways and our neighborhoods cleaner? And I'm going to remain listening to residents throughout the community. We're going to be on the northwest side this evening, and we continue to be out in neighborhoods throughout the city. And I know this issue is going to be a top priority for me because it's a top priority for our residents.
Perfect. You bet. Thanks so much.
Good to see you guys, sir. Thank you. Good to see you.
Did you get 2 cameras?
All right, yeah.
2 cameras today?
Just let you know, we do have council out if you want to talk to him about this, or if you have all those.
Grab a quick interview with them. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Certainly quick.
Yep.
Do it.
All righty.
Can I first get you to say and spell first and last name so I can spell it correctly?
Yeah, Tim Swauger, S-W-A-U-G-E-R.
Name, title.
Refuse Division Administrator.
Just talk about, obviously, what you've been seeing as the administrator and going through these different neighborhoods where this illegal dumping has been happening.
Sure. So what we've seen is where we have capacity available, people are taking advantage of that by illegally dumping in some of our more vulnerable neighborhoods. So where we have these alleys that have the 300-gallon cans, people know that there's room to dump, so they drive up and down these and fill these up on a daily basis. As I pointed out earlier, these cans got dumped 2 days ago and they're already full. That's not just from the households living around here. That's from people driving over here dumping because they have the opportunity and they're doing it in the evening hours, off hours, and that's what we're trying to crack down on.
What's the most common item that you all see dumped around these areas?
Sure. Normally it's tires and construction debris. Those are the 2 number 1 things that we see. Is a lot of the home construction, like doors and windows, things of that nature, which are not allowed to go into the waste stream. And then tires, people dumping tires because there's a fee to get rid of them normally, so they're dumping them out in the alleys. And that becomes a health issue as well.
So I was going to say, I know that collects the water. You have other trash, rodents and things like that just kind of living and festering around those areas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said it's not just a blight issue from a look standpoint. It is a health hazard out here when we leave this stuff. So that's why we've started the illegal dumping crews. That's why the mayor's forcing this issue with us to make sure we get in these alleys, clean them up as best we can, and then hold the people accountable. That's the next step of this. We can only clean up so much, but we've got to stop it from occurring in the first place.
What would you tell people who are living in the areas who have an issue with it but don't really know what to do? What is the best plan or the best course of action that they can do to help out?
Sure. So if they have items that they're not sure of how to get rid of, call our 311 center. They can let you know if it's appropriate to put for us or to schedule bulk. If you're going to put out a large item, you call in and schedule bulk. We'll schedule it and you put it out the day before. Don't put it out 2 weeks before. If you're scheduled for next week, wait till the day before, because those tend to accumulate other items when you put them out too long before. And then, so if you schedule that, or if you have items that aren't appropriate for us, they'll let you know where you can get rid of them, or you go onto the city's website under refuse and you can type in an item and it'll tell you whether or not it can be recycled somewhere, reused somewhere, or is it trash and where it goes then.
And as far as other people who may, if they catch somebody dumping, still call that 311 hotline?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they see someone dumping, catch someone dumping, obviously if they can give us a description, license plate number, any information they can give us. If they have any home security video, that would help out. A lot of people have cameras now. If they've got any of that, we'd love to get a copy of that so that we can go ahead and prosecute. If you call 311, they'll turn that over to one of our solid waste inspectors who will follow up on it.